Hello, and welcome to episode 335 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff. We're going to be going deep into that Windows jump list G-test stuff that we've been kind of inching up towards for the better part of like 6 months off and on. And we're actually going to make some more inroads there. I'm very satisfied about that. We finally made it, gang. We can see the vista in front of us, not Windows Vista, just the vista of writing a G-test. And we're actually doing it because we have a thing that is designed to be testable now. And that's great. Let me start by sharing my screen. We can take a look at today's agenda. Whoop. So yeah, today is August 9th, 2023, episode 335. And a reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. Like I mentioned, we're going to be going deeper into that G-test stuff, but who knows what'll happen. We might end up reading a lot of like Gmock or G-test documentation or digging deep into how Gecko promises work. Oh, who knows what's going to happen, because you're just going to be watching me try and figure out how to write these G-tests. And I've never really written... I've written my first G-test and touch G-tests, I think for the most part, on this stream just in the past couple of weeks. So if this is new to you, if G-test is new to you, if the Gmock thing is new to you, it's new to me too, and we're learning it together, and we're figuring it out together, on top of C++, which is already something that, I understand Mozilla C++, but we're kind of in a different realm here where we're doing G-test style C++. It's a whole thing. So, no plan survives breakfast, but if this agenda is something that interests you, we've got all these handy links that you might want to click on. I got news for you. There are lots of ways for you to access it depending on where you're watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube or diode.zone, check out the video description down below. If you're watching this on Twitch, check out the channel description for a link. And if you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the details section over there. It should be one of the items that's listed over there. You can just find a link to the agenda. And as I update the agenda and hit save, this little thing will spin, and then the agenda will update. You may need to hit reload. Let's actually take a look and see what it looks like, because sometimes it doesn't format correctly. So let's take a quick peek, see what the agenda looks like. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So what's going on today? Well, first of all, a piece of news. No episodes for the next 2 weeks. So I'm traveling. I'm on vacation next week. I was on vacation a couple weeks back. I'm on vacation again. This is my summer vacation next week. And then the following week, I'm traveling for Mozilla for work. And so I will not be streaming for the next 2 weeks. So the next stream will be 3 weeks from now, I guess. Whenever you do the math, I guess that's August 30th. So I'll see you at the end of August for that stream. Some questions came in. Some questions and feedback came in on the forums. Because just a reminder... if you're watching this and you have feedback for me or you have questions about Firefox, the codebase, jump lists, Gecko, G-tests, Mozilla, software development, you can send those questions in. There's a link to the Rate This Episode form in the agenda. Here, let's go back to the episode agenda. It's right down here, Rate This Episode. And you can send me, along with, you can fill in what you thought of the episode, but you can also send me in questions, and I'll do my best, if I have the answer, I'll do my best to try and answer them on stream. And so I got 2 questions. The first one's a question. The second one is not a question, it's just a good idea. Let's start with the first one. Smurf D says, happy vacay. Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. The first question is, if you want to be sure as possible when filing a bug, if it is a security-related bug or not, how would you think about that? That's a great question, because security bugs are not at all obvious. Sometimes what a user might think of as just, that's just a weird glitch, what's going on here, could be exploited to cause some real harm. Not all bugs are equal. I'll give you an example. There are crashes, like a crash report might come in to our crash stats server. If you submit a crash report, we might get the stack and we'll look at it and go, okay, this is a crash that occurred because of a failed assertion. And those failed assertions are usually, those are safe crashes. We have crashed on purpose because something went wrong and we failed an assertion. So it's not like a crash that was caused by, something necessarily malicious. Like the crash didn't reveal that there was something, didn't necessarily reveal that there's an exploitable vulnerability. But there are other kinds of crashes where we'll look at the memory signature and go, oh, we tried to access memory. The reason we crashed is because we were trying to access memory that we shouldn't have been trying to access. And that's a smell, like as soon as you see something like that, that could be exploited depending on, what the program was doing at the time, to get the program to start consuming and accessing memory and running instructions that it was never intending to do. This is called like remote code execution, or an RCE vulnerability. And we do lots of things to try and protect the user against this with, I think our sandboxing tries to protect the user against this. There's some various protections you can deploy at the operating system level to make this very, very difficult. And then there's the process isolation. So there's like an onion of boundaries here, but, you never know. So like pwn to own still occurs and browsers are still owned periodically. We've made it a lot harder these days. I think it's a lot trickier now to compromise a browser, but it can still happen. So what am I trying to say here? How do you think about whether or not a thing is a security related bug or not? If you don't know that it's a security related bug, you don't have to file it as one. You can trust that. I think my opinion is that the triage owner's job, part of the job of the people. So let me back up for a second and talk about what happens whenever someone files a bug. At least for Firefox Desktop. I don't know if this is different for different projects at Mozilla, but when you file a bug for Firefox Desktop, it's put into a particular category. Like in Bugzilla, there's the Firefox product, and within that product, there are all these like components. And there are some other products as well, like Toolkit is a product. That's like the shared UI toolkit that Firefox and Firefox for Android and Thunderbird uses. And then there are components for that. But a bug gets filed, and if it's a Firefox bug, it usually goes under the Firefox product in one of the components. And if the user doesn't know which component it belongs to, it'll either go into untriaged or general. And we have people whose job it is every couple of days to go through all of the bugs that come in and figure out what priority they should be and like where they should go, and okay, are they in the right component? Okay, well, does it go here? Does it go there? What severity? Is this really important, or is this like a feature request, or is this a defect? Like there's a bunch of weighing of the bugs, and part of the job of that process is called triage. These people aren't. It's part of the trap of triage is like you're going through this bug list and you want to like fix all of them, but it's impossible because there's just so many. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of bugs get filed every day. So the job is to figure out what is the signal here. Is there something in here that's like really important? Like, I don't know, a crasher on Windows 10 that affects 30% of users. Like that's a big deal. That is a big deal, and we would escalate that immediately. If it's something small like a person with some custom hardware, some kind of homebrew Linux distro, and we are not talking properly to their abstraction or something, then we'd be like, okay, how many people does this affect? Okay, we're gonna put it at like a lower priority level. So there's like a weighing of the bugs based on how many people they affect and the severity of how those people are affected. And during this triage process, part of the job does this look like a security bug? And not everyone, even myself, I might not be able to recognize when a thing is a security bug. Sometimes we discover it not too late, but like kind of late in the process, where we'll be looking at a bug and then someone will go, you know what, this might be exploitable. And what we do then is we make it into a security bug. That's a thing that if you have certain privileges on Bugzilla, you can mark a bug as saying like this is a security bug, and that makes it more difficult. Like it closes it off from public view so that we can have a conversation. We'll bring in like our security experts and like have them discuss it with us. Like, is this a security issue? And we might have that conversation in some secure channels to just see like, okay, should we be worried about this? What do we do about this? And then once we're sure a thing is a security issue, then we can like triage it in that using that lens. Okay, this is a security issue. How many people does it affect? how bad a security issue is it? Is this like a user confusion, or is this like you've exploited the parent process and now you've got full remote code execution in the like there's a spectrum of the severity of security issues as well. And where am I going with this? And then eventually, hopefully that bug will get fixed, and then some number of releases later we open the bug up to the public. We'll take the shroud off and say like, okay, this is what happened in here. And so it's not necessarily the responsibility of the bug filer to say it's a security bug. The triagers will do that. Now, that's not to say that you can't declare something as being a security issue. We have tons of security researchers who are constantly attacking Firefox, who are fuzzing it, who are probing it, trying to find vulnerabilities, because Mozilla has a bug bounty program. We actually will pay people to find serious security issues and exploit Firefox. We will reward them with money if they tell us how they did it so that we can fix it. If you're curious about the bug bounty program, I think, I could be wrong here, but I think Mozilla was like one of the first ones to pioneer a bug bounty program. This is the information on the bug bounty program. So there, check that out. And so if you're a security researcher or you want to get into security research, this information might be, you can make some money. If you're fuzzing Firefox, if you find something that's like, oh, this isn't, I could take advantage of, a Firefox user with a specially prepared website, or if we a specially prepared add-on or something, that's worth knowing. And you can file that as a security issue, and that stuff will be examined very closely. And then, I'm not saying everybody who files a security bug gets money, but there's like an criteria here. Eligibility is kind of the deal. And I'm not going to read this out to you, but you should read this if you're at all curious about how all this bug bounty stuff works. There are lots of I think it's true that Mozilla kind of pioneered the bug bounty process, but there are lots of projects that have bug bounties, and this is a way that some security researchers make either their primary income or side income, is by fuzzing programs and finding security problems and then reporting them responsibly. That's the key: responsible reporting. I will say that there is like a black market for exploits for browsers and pieces of software, and people will pay money to use these, to learn how these exploits work, to take advantage of people. And I highly encourage you, if you're in the security research world, don't do that. The money might be really, really great, but it's not good for the world. I highly recommend you instead investigate, get paid for your work, and use the bug bounty programs of the things that you're exploiting, and help make the software better rather than taking advantage of people. Okay, so that's my spiel about security bugs. Hopefully that answered the question. The next bullet was, after all this Windows jump list work is merged and riding the rails to release, I think it may be interesting to have a bit of a recap on all the pieces of work you did during all these episodes. Doesn't have to necessarily take up a full episode, but maybe it could. I think this is a great idea. This whole project has taken about a year at this point, more or less. We've come back. We've come and go from the project a bit. I think a recap would be really useful, and we can talk about the whole start. Soup to nuts. What happened here, and why did this take so long, and where did most of the work go, and what did we learn? That's important. I think that's a great idea. Thank you, whoever submitted that. Well, speaking of jump lists, let's get into it, because we've got a lot of stuff done. We were writing our G tests, and we were in the midst of writing another one. So let's get back to it. I'm gonna have to swap some of this back into my head. We were trying to test check for removals. Right. So if you may recall that Jump List Builder's check for removals method here returns a promise that resolves with a list of URLs that the user has chosen to remove from the jump list. And we interpret that as should be removed from history. If the user doesn't want them to show up anymore, we just remove them from history. That's how we interpret that. And that is what Windows actually expects you to do with the jump list. If you read the jump list implementation or the jump list documentation, that is what they expect you to do if you're using this API. When the user removes a thing from the list, you're supposed to wipe it out from memory. So that's what we're doing. And the way that check for removals works is, we return that promise, and the promise is ultimately being passed to this other thread. This is the promise that gets created from the check for removals method. It gets moved over to this other thread, and then we do a couple of things. The first thing we do is we abort any lists that are underway. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to mock out abort list as well, because I think we're going to be using that a lot. So let's go ahead and mock out abort list. Mock method h result abort list. I don't think it takes any arguments, so I think I can just pass nothing here, right? Can I do that? Let's see what happens if I just do that. So let me hit save, and let's see what gtest says. And while we're doing that, wait, where was I? It aborts the list, and then it calls begin list. And this is the thing that's actually going to return the list. So what we need to do, because this is what we're testing. We're not testing the back end. We have supplied a testing backend. That's what we're adding mock methods to. We are testing this code right in here. And so what we expect our mock backend to do, our mock method here, is to accept this argument and this argument, which is a pointer, and to have it return an iObjectArray pointer. Oof. This is going to be really interesting, creating something that is compatible with this. I think this might be, I'm going to guess this is where we're going to be spending most of our time here. And that, what it is something that implements iObjectArray and returns our list of URLs. Okay. I think that's fine. And then what happens is something called remove icon cache and get jump list shortcut URIs is called. What does that do again? This goes through the array of URLs and it tries to, for each object in the input array, if it's an iShell link, this deletes the cached icon and adds the URL param to the list of URLs to be removed from the places database. So it removes the cached icon. And we do that on this thread because this is the IO thread. We go ahead and say okay, delete icon from disk, which is sync IO, but because we're off of the main thread, it's A-OK. All right. So we expect this then to get called with a bunch of stuff. That's part of what's being tested here. And then abort list gets called again, and then we resolve with the list of URLs. So I'm very curious to know whether or not. Okay, note, unimplemented virtual method abort list in nice mock. Mock method must be called with 3 or 4 arguments. Ret method args. Args spec must be enclosed if ret is a type unprotected. Can I just produce? So there are no arguments to abort lists. So what's the? Whenever there are no arguments. Hang on, I think I saw something that was useful. Args. Yeah, you can just pass like this. What do you call this? It's not a tuple. just an empty parens. I don't know what that means in C++. In Python, that'd be called a tuple. Akris asks, I think this is from a couple minutes ago, why don't you just not make bugs in the first place? Of course. Why didn't we think of that? Any sufficiently large or complicated software system has bugs. No exceptions. Okay. I'm eager to know what's going to happen here. We're getting farther here. Oh, it's actually going to run the test now. That's nice. All right. So this actually, we don't actually wait for the promise to be resolved. And that's what I'd like to do next, is wait for the promise to be resolved, which is kind of a new pattern in our G-test here. But I think did I write some notes? Sync. What is it? Sync G-test. There was something like spin event loop, promise fulfill. Yeah, it's like this stuff. Wait for the promise to be fulfilled. You get a zoom. Here's your promise. And listeners, expect resolve called. What is that? That is under file system mocks. That's not quite what I'm talking about here. This is a DOM promise that I want. We want to spin until the promise is fulfilled. Is there ref pointer promise, DOM promise. Let's take a look at the definition of DOM promise. Create infallible, maybe reject, resolve with clone. Then I want to use then, and I want to use it in C++ land. So I can call then and any callback. Can I? No, I don't want the definition. I want usages of promise then. Come on, other people must use it. Yeah. But these might be Moz promises, which are different. A Moz promise is like a promise that's designed to be used in C++, whereas what we have here is a DOM promise. I guess what I'm looking for is a promise. See, here's a Moz promise. This is not what we're wanting. I want to see then called where the first argument is a context, a JavaScript context. Not too many. Just this thing. And that's DOM request. Who calls DOM request? Anyone? All right, we might be in for a bad time, gang. Unless Promise.h. Where was that defined? DOM promise. Are there any G tests? Yes. On resolve. Feels kind of relevant. Promise is promise then with cycle collected args.js. You can just pass in. This looks like a lambda. So maybe I can just run a lambda. They're all returning null pointer. Can I do another thing in there? Can I like... I feel like this is helpful. Maybe I can use this model. What does this return? It returns NS. It returns a result. Let's just see what happens if I do something really, really simple. We're just gonna learn a little bit, gang. Real simple. What does this take as arguments? JS tuple args global. Let me take it. Create a global. Do I have a global? Do I need one? Native global privileged junk scope. I always okay. All right, we might want something like this. And then promise. Let's assert true promise, and then promise. Let's do this. Let's also do locking. Oh, we don't, this will resolve on this thread. So we don't necessarily need to do locking. We've kind of got the primitive that we need here to do what we need to do, like bool done equals false. Done equals true. Can we like spin loop until done? This isn't using a lock, this is spinning the event loop. Some kind of spin like this. Yeah. global, global, make tuple, done equals true. Let's see what it thinks of this. I don't have high hopes. Let's find out. I got a feeling there's a bunch in here it's not going to know what I'm talking about. But I've been surprised before. For example, it might not... Okay. Cannot assign to a variable captured by copy in a non-mutable lambda. Oh, I think I have to do that. That's how that mutable lambdas in C++. I think you have to use the ampersand. Oh boy. Ampersand. I think I've seen... Yeah, that's what I've seen to pass stuff. And then do I have to declare what it is, maybe? Done. Bool. Is that? Let's see what happens if I just do this. But I got a feeling there's more to it. Use of undeclared identifier. Spin event loop until. Okay. Well, that's from spin loop event until.h. And I think I can just include it like this. So it's August 9th, and I'm going on vacation next week. Anyone else going on vacation out there? Please add to the agenda that you won't stream for the next 2 weeks. I think I did, didn't I? Wasn't there something at the top? Right here? Here, I'll put it in bold. There. Still doesn't like it. Why doesn't it like it? Because there's a lot in here. Error function such and such. The lambda is used but not defined in this translation unit. It cannot be defined in any other translation unit because its type does not have linkage. What? Do I have to bring it? I brought in promise.h. That's where it's defined. But maybe it's because... So here's what I'm worried about. Like, I am... What happens if I do that? Can I do that? Maybe that's better. Let's look at more examples of this being used. Where stuff is passed into the lambda. That's what I'd like to see. I'm seeing no examples where stuff is passed in for lambda. Oops. That's not a good sign. Do I have to use then with cycle collected Argus.js? Maybe I can use something else. That was just the one I saw. What if I just use native handler, promise native handler? Maybe that's what I want. Native handler, promise handler. Is that what I want? Promise handler. What is a promise native handler? Ah, with callbacks. Maybe this is what I want. Promise native handler G-test. I think I might want this. I think I want to subclass promise native handler, and then it's like append native handler. All right, what is this thing called? A test promise listener. And then what uses this? Template success class. Seriously? Who uses this? Append native handler, file system request handler. I think what I'm looking for is DOM fs tests append native handler. Okay. Expect resolve called. That sounds handy. File system mocks expect resolve calls. Mock promise listener. Oh man, there is a lot of templating going on here. But that's a test promise listener, which is this thing. Okay. All right. I think this is how I want to go. I'm going to create one of these things, something not as complicated, but I'm going to implement a subclass of DOM promise native handler. Okay. Let's start by bringing it in, Mozilla DOM promise native handler. And we are going to, let's see, let's call it, what did they do? They had, for file system mocks, they had something called expect resolve called, expect not implemented. I kind of like expect resolve called. And then what does it do with it? On resolve, it just like says done. Okay. Class promise wait for resolve. Resolve wait for resolve. And then it's going to implement public native promise native handler. And when it's constructed, we'll say public wait for resolve. Where's the signature? M is done, false. I like that. Ooh. What was that again? Some kind of special pointer. I don't know if that's actually super necessary. In the event that we find that we need it, we'll add it. Okay, private. Cool. M is done. Resolved. So here is the signature. Do I have to? Seriously? Oh, what I need to do is do that, I think. Surely there is better formatting, but let's not worry about it. No? Okay. Rejected. Callback. So how does this one work? Too many indents, gang. What I'll do here is like assert. Do we ever do like assert true false? Yeah. Oh. Should never reach here. And then bool spin until done. Maybe this thing can take care of spinning. Spin until resolved. Spin. Wait for resolve. Turn. And it's done. Okay. Semicolon here. So then, can I construct one of these things? Do I have to worry about? default, it's classic. And then who destroys this thing? Delete. And listener, make and add ref. Who handles the destruction of this this thing? Oh, that's what's going on. Virtual ref counting. Okay. Inline declare. Well, we don't need virtual ref counting. We need like concrete ref counting. Wait for result. Do we want declare thread safe ref counting? I think we basically want this. Test. We want wait for resolve. Override. Okay. So now we've got this thing. And now what we can do, presumably, is we can create a wait for resolve. Resolver equals new, wait for resolve. And then we'll say promise append native handler resolver spin until resolved. Does that work? Let's see what happens. I got a feeling I've missed a bunch of stuff. Let's find out what it is. Yeah, icon has what now? Oh, I need to using it. Using namespace. Using Mozilla DOM promise native handler. Scooby-Doo-Boo-Boo. What do we got going on, gang? Okay, still not a fan. Line 51. Oh. Sorry, that should be void. Happy. Still not a fan because allocating an object of an abstract class. Wait for resolve. I guess there's something I failed to implement. What did I fail to implement on promise native handler? What did I fail to override? Should this be... Oh, it's NSI supports. Oh, geez. All right, so I have to do query interface. And this, I wonder if wait for resolve, if we should call it a wait for resolver. Because we kind of want it to be a noun. All right. And maybe... Let's see if it likes that. Anyone going out on some... I'm working on tests now, so you're getting close to pushing the fab. That's the hope. That is the hope. Is that soon we can actually put some stuff up for review once the tests are written. Okay. Unused Kung Fu Death Grip global objects constructed from temporary values are prohibited. Please switch all access to this value to go through global or explicitly pass global to Mozilla unused. What you talking about? Chunk scope. Context. Global is... Oh, hang on. Maybe we don't even need the global anymore. Right. We don't need the global anymore. Don't even need it. Don't even worry about it. We needed it before because we were trying to call into the then on the promise. But now we're using a native handler, which I think is the right move. I think normally promises are handled by JavaScript code, and the Pen native handler is for exactly our use case from what I can tell, which is you've got some native code that wants to resolve or be notified when a DOM promise resolves. It's linking. That's very surprising. I was expecting more of a fight. Holy smokes, it built. That was unexpected that just worked. What? Hold on. So, printf spinning event loop until promise resolved. Printf promise resolved. I can't believe it. There's no way that just worked straight up. I am highly skeptical. I'm not that good. Something. Some kind of something. If this worked, that'd be incredible. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Seems to work. Unbelievable. Maybe let's just verify this one more time. Over here where we run check for removals, let's put a printf right here where we resolve the promise. Hello. Thank you. Resolving check for removals. Okay. Now, will this build? Will widget rebuild? It might not. I might have to do that separately. Let's see what happens though. Okay, it's rebuilding widget. Very good. Smurf D says, I am being too pessimistic. Do we have any B emojis? There you go. I mean, maybe I just nailed this right, like just one-shotted it. I guess it's possible. That'd be incredible. If I see spinning the event loop, resolving check for removals, and then done spinning the event loop, I'll be very happy. I'm going to play some sounds, because that means we did it. That means I'm pretty sure we did it. Look at that! Look at that! Okay, let's play some sounds.
It's me, Mario! Mamma mia!
Oh, yeah.
Okie dokie, here we go!
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect. Why just spill your beans? Why just spill your beans?
All right. Pretty good. Pretty happy about that. All right. Well, let's get rid of our logging and let's move on. Let's test. Let's go deeper into this test. We've got another half hour or so, and we are making great progress. I did not expect to have that sorted out so quickly. So what we can do now is, before we call check for removals, is we can prepare our builder. Not the builder, the back end. Which one is it called? So this thing also needs some documentation, by the way. We can prepare begin list. We're going to have begin list return our list of URLs. Let's see how that goes. So the way we did this before is with a lock. We may not actually need the lock this time. Top 3 best debugger of 2023. Printf, console log, and echo. I do like me a debugger. I do like me a Visual Studio debugger, but for quick, just sort of like flow. I mean, if I was doing this with JavaScript, I'd use like log points. I could use log points, but for C++, printfing is oftentimes, I find for myself, faster. So I'm going to have begin list return us our special our special dealies, and begin list is expecting a pointer, a ref ID, and a void star. Can I just pass it like unnamed arguments? Can I just do that? I have a feeling no. I think it actually wants to know what I think is going to be passed. Now, I actually don't care. I don't care what's passed. So I might want to just remove these and see what happens now if I just remove those. Shout out to all the printf debuggers out there. I'm not like I do a hybrid. I'll use GDB, LLDB, Visual Studio. I haven't used WinDbg, WinDGB. I haven't DBG, WinDBG. I haven't used that in years, but I know that's a thing that one can use. Why are we still? Oh, doesn't like it. So I actually need to supply the arguments. We ran into this last time too. Underscores. Do underscores just mean like whatever? I actually want the arguments though, because I need to do stuff with them. You can call concrete. So what if I want to just do this? Expect call test backend begin list will once, and then I don't have any foo here, but I may get these things. Will that work if I do this? Whoops. What were the arguments? Begin list. It's PC min slots, RIID. What? And what was the last one? PPV. What do you think about that? Do I need a parentheses here? I think I do. All right, let's get some space here. Because I do care about the arguments. I need to do something with them. They're out params, so I have to write stuff to them. If you're not familiar with what an out param is, I'll briefly explain it while we wait for this build. It's linking. That's exciting. An out param is whenever you pass something into a function or a method in C or C++ or some other language. I don't think it's language dependent. An out param is whenever you pass in an argument and expect that argument to be written to, as opposed to read from and, some result returned. It's a way of it's almost like a way of making it so that you can have multiple return values, because instead of having just the return value from the method, you can get return values written into the out params. So that seemed to work. And is this thing being called? Printf. Begin list was called. Here's our printf debugging. Let's see if it works. Out params make more sense whenever you've got, if your function needs to return something a little more complicated. I know you can return a structure. You can oftentimes return a structure, and that can like contain a bunch of information. But like, especially in old school Windows, like C++, you'll notice that, and this is true for XPCOM as well. The format is like there is a result code that is always the return value, is a result code. It's not a struct, it's a number, and it indicates whether or not there was success or failure, and what kind of failure. And then you'll have a variety of in and out params as arguments. Yeah, there we go. Begin list was called. This is great. Okay, so now let's write some stuff into it. So what we need to do basically is we need to construct something that implements iObjectArray. So let's see if we have some examples of iObjectArray. I need to, that's what we did before. I need to make an iObjectArray. How do I create? Oh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Co-create instance object collection, and that can be query interfaced into an iObjectArray. And that is what can be returned. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. HR, okay. So we're going to do... Okay. We create our collection, create and all that stuff. I think we can declare this at the same time. Result HR equals these things. Get our add refs collection, and then what we're going to do is query interface to an array collection query interface object p array, and then we're going to say ppv equals, I think it's like star ppv equals p array dot forget. That's how you do an out param, I think. And then we also have to write into PC min slots some value. PC min slots equals 0. So we return, there's nothing in there is what we're going to say. All right, let's see what happens now. And then we're going to, instead of putting nothing in there, we're going to put some items. Let's see here. How do we can put an item into this collection? Collection, add object. You can add an object. And what is expected inside of this obj array? We're expecting it shell links. So that's what we need to return. What we need to insert here are a bunch of shell links. That failed. Assigned to void from incompatible type. Oh boy. Wait, star. Basically what I want to say, I need to cast, how do you do this? Star PPV. Static cast, I see. Static cast. Is that the only way to do it? Static cast. It's always this. Why this? For query interface. So maybe what I need to do is static cast. Oh, that's different. So the IID is different from the right, from the actual, that's the ID. So static cast to I object array star. Can I do that? What do you think about that? No. Cannot cast from already add ref to I object array to pointer type I object array. So I don't think it's happy with me calling forget. So instead of using a ref pointer, why don't I see what people do on the internet. Ascom. MSCom out param. What does PPV stand for? PPV. What is it? When this method returns contains the interface pointer requested in RID. This is typically the interface pointer contains the interface pointer. Yeah. Is like, do you not want me, if I do this, we're gonna, do I have to do like an add ref, a manual add ref? I might have to do that. Add ref. Something like that. Yeah, because this is gonna, as soon as this goes out of scope, it's gonna get destroyed. We need to add ref it so it stays alive to the caller. That's because these are smart pointers. This is a smart pointer, and this is a smart pointer. They're both pointing to the same thing that got created here, and as soon as they fall out of scope from this lambda function, it's going to be uninitialized memory, gang, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, and I'm talking to MSCom here. I think what I want to do is ns add ref. Yeah, wrap that in ns add ref. I think that's what we'll do. Okay. Do I even need to do this part? since like maybe that's enough. If this works, then what we're going to do is we're going to create one shell link. We're going to see how we can create a shell link. How do you create a shell link? PSL, query interface. It's a prop store. PSL. What is PSL? Co-create instance. Create a shell link right here. That's how you do it. Still hates it. Member reference base type void is not a structure or a union. I have to add ref to the thing manually. Alright. Alright. In that case... P array add ref. Will you just let me do that? Is that allowed? Set but not used. Okay. No addref release on return. What does that mean? Object which is marked with no must not be called on the return value. Oh. Why not? Com pointer ref pointer. How do we keep it alive? ASCOM add ref. Is there, how do you use I unknown add ref? That's what I want to do. Yeah. That's what I want to do. Cool incantation. Very cool. All right, Smurf D. Smurf D's got to go. He's wishing myself a nice vacation, but I'm going to extend that that pleasant message to anyone who's going on vacation in the next few weeks. Have a pleasant vacation. Have a pleasant vacation. I hope you get some relaxation in. Everybody who is, even if you're not having vacation, I hope you get some good relaxation in, whatever it is that you're doing. Hey, we're Lincoln. Static cast won't work there? I don't know. Let's find out. We'll change from reinterpret cast to static cast and see if it complains. I'm just copying what I'm seeing here. All right, let's try static cast. I got a feeling we might actually hit that. Will we hit that warning unless we reinterpret cast? Let's find out. I mean, is there anyone out there doing static cast to I unknown? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we could maybe do static cast I unknown. Okay. Good call, Ocris. Saving my butt daily. So let's add some assertions here. We're gonna assert. Do we have what? Assert equal. What do we have for assert equal? G-test assertions equal assert EQ. Assert EQ. HR is S. Okay. Yeah. Same here. Alright. Looking good. Run again. Keep it running. Now that we've done that, I'm going to try and get it to return one address. So we've created our thing. This is when we convert it to whatever is to what's being passed back. But before we do that, we're gonna add our shell link. Where did we see that happening? IID, something like this. Create instance shell link. We're gonna create one. Assert EQ HRS okay, and then we are going to we have to set some properties on it. Set path, right? Like, what do we do for reading these things in? The obj array, and we pass it to this, which is going to go through each one, get the link. It's going to get the arguments, and what else does it want? The icon location. URI specs. Append element, move the spec as the first argument. IC. Get arguments. So when did we set arguments? App args get. App args is a auto string Can do. Okay. Okay. So, auto string. Link ref. And we are going to link ref dot append ps example.com, and then we are going to say to our link set arguments link ref get. That's one. And then the other thing that we do is we set the icon location. Set icon location. Icon index. I think we'll just do the default. I don't think we're necessarily testing that part yet. Set icon location 0. Okay, so we've created our thing, and now let's add it to our array. Get shell link. Who calls that? Who calls it? Here. Add list build. Collection add object. So collection add object link. And then we're going to say we returned 1, right? That's what that out param is for. Enters the current user segment, the number of recent items to display in jump list option. Oh. The default value is 10. Oh, okay. It's not the length. It's just some default value. All right. Let's see what happens. Not quite. Very unhappy because... Okay, enough. No matching member function for call to append. Oh. Let's see. Sure, there's examples of us. I hate strings in C++, especially dealing with all the Unicode stuff. Okay. I can do it this way. I think that'll work. Too few arguments to function call to set icon location. Okay, what is it expecting? Set icon location. I don't even think we need to necessarily do this. App path. We can probably get away with not doing the icon part, right? As auto string app path u temp sample firefox.exe set icon location app path get, and then now one thing that's coming to mind as I'm working on all of this is we're reaching a really interesting point, which is we built this thing where our resolver is going to spin until resolved, and I actually want to know what it resolves with. So I think what we want is to have our spin until resolved like ideally we can inspect the contents of what it's resolved with. That's going to be tricky because it's a JS value. And I don't know how we're going to do that. Oh, this is still upset. Unknown escape. Oh, right. You don't like the backslash. All right, there we go. I think we might have to deal with that next time. Basically, what I want to make sure of is that the JavaScript array that comes back has a single item and it's this string. That's what I want to make sure of. And so we're going to have to modify our wait for resolver to somehow spin until resolved, and then we can like get the results out of it maybe. And then use some JavaScript engine foo to read into the JavaScript array the JavaScript string and compare values. Void. Oh. Begin list. (192). No matching function call for will once. This is wrong. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? This is supposed to return an H result. Is it all this stuff? How could that be? How could that be the problem? Specified explicit return type. This was working before. What did I change? Must match previous return type void when lambda expression has unspecified explicit return type. Do I need now to say that begin list returns an H result? Expect call. Like, I say up here, begin list returns an H result. What's going on here? Anyone see missing in lambda declaration? Maybe. Seems strange. I don't recall having to do that before, and this was working. This was working, right, gang? I might have to re-watch the footage. Let's get rid of all this. This was working. Okay, this is the last mystery, and then I'm calling it. I should have saved. I should have committed while it was working. And then I could see what the difference is. Now I'm going to have to do like... See, now... Okay, it likes it. So something's wrong with these lines here. Somewhere in this list. I'm going to do this now. We can get rid of that. We're going to find out which set of lines is causing this complaint. I wish the feedback loop was a bit smaller, a bit tighter. It takes a while to get an answer out of this thing. Okay, so that's enough to confuse it. Is it this? Assert EQ? Maybe assert EQ, the macro is like... is where I'm going wrong. I think it is. If I get rid of all these assert EQs, which are macros, so maybe those are changing the... maybe there are certain assumptions about the function signature that I'm running in. So lambda, use an assertion in lambda. Expect call. How do I do? Can I do assertions inside the lambda? Find it. Okay. Oh boy. Come on, come on, come on, come on. How do you assert steps of your... Surely there's a way. And if there's a will, there's a way. It's called Tybo. Assertions. Can I even do this? See, that's the problem. So maybe I need to take a look at more examples of us doing will once. I don't know. Well, I guess don't need those assertions then. So that means I don't need HR. I'm just going to say unused. Alright. Well, we solved that mystery, I guess. If anyone knows what I'm supposed to be doing in here, like with assertions, that'd be amazing. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. We can figure that out together. But I think we've got ourselves something that kind of maybe... Oh. Assert succeeded HR or Moz assert succeeded HR. Let's see see if there are any examples. Maybe we just need, yeah, Moz assert inside of a G test. Maybe that's good. Yeah, maybe we just want a Moz assert in there. So hold up. Now it's unused. Okay, it doesn't. Let's go back in time. If I could turn back time. Okay. Moz assert. Succeeded HR. Okay, let's see. Let's just do that one. See if it's happy with it. What are you talking about? It is used here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with that. Let's do one more build. We're going to commit, and then we're going to call it there. Next time on The Joy of Coding, we're going to figure out how we're going to get that item that we added, this test item. We're going to see if we can get this URL out the other side. That's going to involve us reading the return, what the promise, the DOM promise is resolved with, which is a JavaScript array with a JavaScript string inside of it. And we have to read it and compare it with this string in C++. So that's going to be really exciting because I don't know how to do that. But maybe I'll talk to some experts and figure it out, or we're going to look at some examples. I mean, that's all we did today, was we looked at a lot of examples to figure out how to do this stuff. And we kind of got somewhere. So Ta-da! Thank you so much for watching episode... What was this? Episode 335 of The Joy of Coding. Quick, let's commit this before I forget. HG diff. Let's take a look at all the stuff we added today. Our wait for resolver thing, and we really fleshed out our test. It's not a whole lot of effort, but we're picking up speed. I hope you can feel that. We're starting to pick up speed. We're building some expertise here, and we're picking up speed. So hopefully next time we can get the argument out, and maybe then we can start on another test. Like the next test that I'd want after, what was it? Clear check for removals is populate jump list. That's the most important one. That's probably the most complicated one. Yeah, we're gonna want to make sure that this all we're almost there. We're testing this part next, and then we can do some of these other things like populate jump list is going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna figure out how to do that. Make sure it's our native, our testing jump list backend gets past the right stuff, which means we're gonna have to construct a bunch of these things in C++, which is gonna be a great time. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out together. Thanks again for watching episode 335 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. Let me know what you thought. There's a form at the bottom of this list to rate the episode. I read everything that comes in. That's a great place to ask me questions too. You know, if you want me to try to answer something on the stream. And I always put a fun photo at the end of every form submission. Hopefully you get to see the fun photo. I've been doing it for years. Collect them all. And I will see you in a couple weeks. Reminder, yeah, I don't have any streams coming up this week or next week, so I will see you sometime at the end of the month for the next stream, episode 336. It'll probably be August 30th, whatever the Wednesday is at the end of the month. All right, thanks again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.